Cunnington here. This is the live stream for Friday from Niche Site Project. And if you're on the chat live, if you're watching me live, let me know if you could hear me. I think we see Marcus on there and Bonnie as well. I should hopefully be able to hear myself soon. And yeah, just let me know. We're going to answer a few questions today. I'm also going to tell you about writing content faster, how I do it. Most of the time, I actually am kind of sloppy occasionally, but I'll tell you how I do it. It's like a six-step process, pretty straightforward, and in a lot of ways, it's just simple. It's a simple way to write content, and it's literally, what I do for blog posts. It's what I have done for the recent course that I put out, which is tens of thousands of words, and it took like 6 weeks to do, but it was pretty fast for how much work I was doing. We got Mike on and Chunky Moose, Bonnie, David Midrol, or Mr. Idol. I'm not sure how to say your name there, man. Sorry. Tosh, what's up? We got Ashley as well. Good to see you. Vince, the whole crew. We got a lot of people hopping on, which is great. So hit the like, and hopefully you're subscribed already. Quick note, if you're not on my email list already, you should hop on. You can go to nichesiteproject.com and then click the green button, enter your name and email. I'll send you all the templates and different systems that I use. And in fact, I just interviewed Bo yesterday. I was trying to think of the folks that I talked to this week, but I interviewed Bo yesterday, who's making over $3,000 per month. His interview is going to be coming out in a couple weeks, but he said that the templates, the free templates that I have out there, really helped him when he was hiring people. So he was able to hire, great writers at a much lower price, and it's been able to, he's published a lot of content, basically. We have Mosin and Matthew. Oh, we got Matt. Matt is on. Matt's over there from Dumb Passive Income. I've known him for years, since I got started online. He's been on the channel and is one of the co-founders for Amalinks Pro. So shout out to Matt. Everyone say hello to Matt, Tanya, Helen, Tiro Hill, GS. Pretty good crew today. So thanks to everyone for hopping on. I came a little bit prepared in that I have the overlay showing, so you can see the overlay, and just trying to bring a little bit more professionalism. And I thought of it ahead of time. It's always there. I just never clicked the little button to make it show up. So we do have several questions that I am going to answer. Matt actually sent one in. And what else did I say I'm going to cover today? Let me just take a look. I think one of the main things is about writing the content. So I know some people join late, so I'm probably going to hold off on that just a minute or two. One thing I'm going to talk about is backing up your site. There's no promotion on this. I'm sure there's something that I could try to sell it as an affiliate here, but in case people don't know, WordPress 5.5 came out this week. So if you logged in on your dashboard for WordPress, you probably saw, hey, you needed to upgrade. And then you probably saw like all your plugins needed to be upgraded too. So this was one of the more major upgrades out there. And you should upgrade. Usually there's great security features that are upgraded. A lot of times, to be honest with you, WordPress just puts a bunch of other just garbage in there, makes things slower, doesn't really solve a problem that we haven't already solved ourselves. But they're trying to do a good thing, right? When you upgrade WordPress in general, when you upgrade your plugins, you potentially have an issue with things breaking. You upgrade one plugin and it breaks all the others. Plugin owners out there, you probably know what I'm talking about. So basically, the point is you should back up your site. Yes, good hosting companies will have like an automated backup thing that's happening. However, a lot of times those are just on your server in another directory, still in your same like folder structure. But the problem is if something happens physically to the server, then you're screwed. It's super rare. It's super rare, but I know multiple people who have had like mechanical failures on their hard drive on the specific server that they were on, and all the data was lost because they didn't have offsite backups. So from a data recovery standpoint and just fail-safe, like configuration management, just server configuration, like they probably should do offsite backup, but you can't really count on the hosting company to do it unless you have a high-end hosting plan. So backup offsite. How you do it, I don't care. You do it however you want. I use Managed WP and it costs like $1 to $2 per website. And I have daily backups. It's very easy to migrate to another hosting company. If I'm about to make some major changes, like upgrade WordPress to 5.5 and then upgrade all my plugins, I'm going to make sure I have the backup offsite somewhere else. So if something breaks, I could just restore it to the previous version. So please make sure you do those offsite backups. It'll save you time in the future. And there are free solutions out there. So I use Managed WP because it's relatively inexpensive and I don't have to do much configuration. There are free options where you can send it over to, Dropbox, Google Drive, however you want to store your backups. You can have them emailed to you. So there's, a number of ways that you can do it. Just make sure it's off of your hosting site. All right. I'm about to take a nootropic here. I talk about it fairly often. Hopefully this is going to focus properly here. There we go. So I take formula here, and this is the Clarity version, caffeine free, because I'm cutting back on caffeine and trying to get my caffeine from my coffee because I like coffee. So this is Clarity. This is usually what I take when I'm about to talk a lot, like I'm doing right now. It does take about 30 minutes to kick in, but I'm also doing something after this live stream. So I'm gonna go ahead and have this. In this particular one, there's, the ingredients are listed on the documentation, but there's just 4 capsules in here, and I'll take this. I'm an affiliate for this company, and just because I have a YouTube channel and I was a customer, I was able to meet with both of the founders. I have featured both of them on the channel and interviewed them. Cool guys. They're out of New York. I think they're in the Manhattan area. So it's a startup and they're growing a ton. Really cool guys. So if you want to check it out and you haven't tried nootropics before, they're kind of the perfect company to get into it. And Bonnie says that they're using Clarity right now and the Trinity product. Okay, so I'm not sure if it's the same stuff, but I'll go with it and say that perhaps you're a user of the formula nootropics too. So the cool thing is they have different formulas depending on what you're trying to do. So apparently, and I didn't know this until I talked to Adam, one of the founders, like a couple weeks ago before I took some time off, and he mentioned that a lot of times it's people who are just getting started with nootropics and they don't know what to choose because there's a lot of different products out there. And usually it's just like a one size fits all, which seems weird to me because everyone's trying to do something different and everyone's brain is different. So and you may react differently to certain products, different ingredients in those products. So anyway, they have, I'm not sure how many different formulas they have, but typically I get 4 different ones in my little set per month. So, and let me hop back to the chat here. Anyway, check out Formula if you're interested in getting into nootropics. You can get like a month sort of sample or like a full month, or you can get a sample, which I think is about a week's worth. So you can kind of see how you react to it, if you like it or not. And again, the cool part is you take a survey. It takes like 4 minutes or so. You ask several questions about what you're trying to do, issues that you're having, and they sort of have a recommendation on what you should try. Very straightforward. Josh is on. We got Jason on as well. And Solomon, what's up? Tiff is on. AZ Lyrics, ask a question, and I'll get to those questions sometime in a bit. And we have Sanala. All right. Can I review my niche topic? It will be 2 mint work. I researched the niche completely and want to validate it from 3 experts. So if you want to try to do it here, potentially, but I would say you can go to my Hire Me page. Okay, Matt says, I got another question there. And okay, cool. So, and since I'm talking about the nootropics, Bonnie says maybe there's two Clarity companies. So the company is Formula. Find My Formula is sort of the former name that they were known by, and they've narrowed it down to Formula. And then Clarity is a specific formula of one of their nootropics, but regardless, it's good that you're taking something. All right. Oh, and okay, you clarified. You clarified what was going on. Very good. All right, cool. So since we got a good crowd on, I'm going to talk about the content stuff, which I think I teased out there for, what the topic is today. So let me know in the chat how your content process goes. And, folks, you can have your own little discussion over there, but just what do you do when you're writing content? And I'm going to talk through it pretty quickly. So you may want to take notes, maybe you watch this later. And again, it's very straightforward. But the issue that a lot of people have is they want to, write quickly. Maybe they don't have a budget, so they can't hire people. It's okay. A lot of us are in that position. And then you have limited time. So what do? You should hopefully have your keyword before you sit down to write. So if you have your keyword, then you're not going to be searching around and trying to brainstorm. A lot of this is about preparing ahead of time and then like executing and sitting down to write when it's time to write. So if you have your keyword already, you're in great shape. I recommend the keyword golden ratio. I'm sure we'll talk about that some today anyway. Generally, if you just go for low competition keywords, you're going to be in good shape for a new site. If you have an established site, you don't necessarily need to go after long tail keywords or KGR or anything like that. But generally, low competition keywords are going to rank faster because there's less competition. A lot of times you'll get more links pointing to those pages if people are looking for references. So if you're ranking high, then you may actually attract links because you're ranking number one there. So that's step one, find your keyword. Step two is research ahead of time. So if you need to, do the research. If you already know the topic really well, then you don't have to search, right? You could just write it from the top of your head. But do research ahead of time. And if you don't need to, you could skip it. If you're not sure about what to write about, then Google the term, review like 3 to 5 or so of the top results that are most similar to your kind of site, your kind of content. Note those references. All right, you're not going to start writing yet. You're just doing the research. You're figuring out like, hey, here's the resources that I need to reference. Maybe you can copy and paste certain segments and excerpts that are relevant, and you're like, this is really important. I want to have this right here in all my notes before I start writing. The third part after you've done your research is to create an outline. This is critical. If you're just sitting down and you have a blank page and you're trying to figure out what to write, even if you have the keyword, a lot of times you're going to hit a barrier, you're going to hit some writer's block because you just don't know what to write. So if you do the outline, you don't have to like write anything specific. You just get the broad strokes down. Generally, you can write what you would use for the subheadings of the headline. And that's how I think about it in general. So if you if you're sure of like what the subheadings would be because of the research that you've done, then you could kind of lean into that and use those. If you're not quite sure, just put down the shortest version of whatever you could think of for the outline for each one of the headings, and then you could beef it up later. The good part is this is all fluid. You just need to write it down, and then you can go back and edit it, fix it up later. So that is step 3, create the outline. The fourth part is the actual writing part. So you can go through your outline. I usually work in Google Docs, but you can do it in workflowy. You could use a piece of paper and write it down. You could use your notes app or whatever. It really doesn't matter. But once you have your outline there, you can fill it in. So again, you can write it as briefly as you want to initially. Maybe you make the first pass and you just write 1 to 2 sentences per heading of your outline. So you don't have to fill the whole thing out. If you're aiming for, say, 3,000 words, you really could just put in 1 or 2 sentences for each one of the outline portions, the headings you would call them. And then maybe you only have 500 words at the start, and then you go in and you'll beef it up later. So another important part is when you're filling in that content, when you're actually writing, don't edit. Don't worry about getting everything just right. Try to get the grammar, as close as to correct as you can. Don't misspell stuff. Put in commas if you know they need to be there, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So if you're not sure how to phrase something, or maybe you can't find the exact right word that you're looking for, don't worry about it. Just write down the simplest sentence that you possibly can, and then you can go back and edit it later. You can add to it later. So after you write it, take a break. That's step 5. Take a break, walk away. Maybe you sleep on it. Maybe you leave for a few hours and work on something else. A lot of times I'll write in the morning and then I'll go work out, have some lunch, do other things, and edit it later that afternoon. It's really good to take a break. Otherwise, you're kind of too close to it and your brain may be a little bit fatigued thinking about the topic. So at that point, after you've taken a break, you can come back to it for step 6 and edit for grammar, mistakes, style, the structure. A lot of times I'll move a whole section where I realize that it fits in somewhere else better. Maybe there's a better transition, or I need to interrupt the pattern there and put in something a little different that is sort of prerequisite for one of the future topics that are coming up. So you can move things around and you're not writing as much, and the editing goes much faster for me after I've written, taken a break, and come back and fix it. Usually, the editing is the most important part. So getting the first part out is great. That's the bulk of it, and then you can tighten it up as you edit it. Again, like I said, it's really straightforward. So the 6 steps: find your keyword. Number 2 is to research the topic as needed. Number 3 is to create the outline. Number 4 is to write the content by filling in that outline. Take a break for number 5. And number 6, you edit and you're in good shape after that. One of the biggest things that helps, the reason why this process works is I'll get distracted if I'm trying to research something. So if I'm writing and I'm like, I need to look up that one thing, I think either I saw a blog post on it or I have an email. So I'll try to search the web, which is dangerous. And even worse is I'll try to search for the email, which I'll often find, but I usually get distracted by other emails. So it's a nightmare. That said, if you do that research ahead of time and you have all your material, you don't need to leave your document. You can just do the outline, do the writing. It's hard to get distracted. The other thing, which is not, it's not in here directly, is it's really helpful if you have a deadline and you have no choice but to do the work. It's very easy to get distracted and procrastinate if you have the time to do it. But if you don't have time to fuck around, then usually you'll just do the work. So that's another little secret, is to set deadlines. Set deadlines for yourself and be pretty rigid with those. So, and that brings me to another, topic. And I wasn't even sure I was going to bring it up today, but I am coming out with a new smaller course for people that are sort of stuck, right? You're not sure what to do with your site. Maybe you've plateaued. Maybe the traffic has sort of stopped growing, and maybe you're not losing traffic. Maybe you are losing traffic and you need to do something. So I know there's a lot of people that have approached me really for the last 3 years about what to do to grow a site. So I put together this course. Basically, it's, I think, 4 units, and it's going to be coming out in a couple weeks. So you're going to have to be patient, but it will be coming out soon. And unlike my other courses, which are huge flagship courses that are dripped out over the course of 8 to 12 weeks, this one you'll have access to all the material right after you enroll. There will be videos. There's going to be some text in there, but it's meant to consume quickly, figure out what you need to work on, right? It's a choose your own adventure situation. Everyone's site is in a different position, so you're going to have to evaluate where your site is and what you need to work on, where your gaps are, and then you'll be able to fill those gaps. So it is coming out in a couple weeks, and like I said, I wasn't sure if I was going to mention it here, but it flowed really well into what I was just talking about. So keep an eye out for that. I'll mention it again here on YouTube, of course, but if you sign up for the email list, you'll be notified sooner than the people on YouTube. So, okay, let's step back and take a look at some of the questions here. So number one, I am going to hit the question from Matt Allen over at Dumb Passive Income. And there we go. So Matt says this: I'm curious about how things have been going since Amazon commission rates were cut in April. Have I replaced a bunch of Amazon links with private affiliate links that pay better rates? If so, are they converting well? Would you say it's still best for a brand new affiliate marketer to start with Amazon just because they typically convert well, even though it's a lower commission rate? So shout out to Matt. Links are in the description there, so you can check out his stuff. And of course, one of the co-founders at AmaLinks Pro, and Josh apparently works on the support team or something or other. Is that right? So thanks, Josh Coop, for hopping on as well. So good friends of the show. All right. So the answer is yes. When appropriate, I have replaced and basically try to diversify affiliate links when it's appropriate. And it looks like this little lower thirds thing, the little banner, gets zoomed in and zoomed out sometimes if I scroll too quick. But anyway, the point is, yes, when appropriate, I have added other affiliate offers. The issue, right, which I knew this was an issue, and basically it's one of the reasons why I advise people to stick to Amazon when appropriate and to test and experiment. So that's what everyone should do, test and experiment. Most of the time, if you have another affiliate offer, you're only going to be able to sell like that one product over there, right? Let's say it's a Canon DSLR camera and someone would maybe buy it off Amazon, and they would buy the camera, some other accessories, and then some unrelated things that are available on Amazon, like office supplies, for example. If I were to sell that Canon camera and all of the camera accessories from B&H Photo, which is a great company and a huge affiliate offer out there for high-tech items, computers, recording equipment, video equipment, all sorts of things like that. They're a great affiliate offer, but they don't have the other random stuff. They have a lot more than maybe some other companies that only sell camera equipment, but you're not going to make those other sales. So at this point in time, Amazon potentially would be a better option. So all that to say, yes, Amazon is still probably the best choice for beginners, like hands down, because it's a much easier conversion for someone if they land on your site and they end up at Amazon. Perhaps they're already Amazon Prime. Perhaps they, even if they're not, they have an Amazon account and the friction's really low. Versus if they go to B&H, maybe they haven't ordered from B&H before, so they have to sign up and create a login, put in their billing information. There's a little bit more friction, even though B&H would probably convert pretty well just because it is a well-known company. So overall, yeah, beginner, probably stick with Amazon. If you're more experienced, if you have a site that's established and you have a lot of different posts out there, you have a lot of other opportunities. The other thing you can do, and I mentioned this in my course, Multi-Profit Site, you can go directly to companies, right? You potentially can work out a better commission rate and maybe some sort of more of a brand deal where you have like a banner on your site and you do a little bit additional advertising versus if you just have the published affiliate offer that's out there. So there's a lot of flexibility, and if you have traffic on your site, you have options. So let's hit some other questions here, and I meant to bring water in here, but I don't have any, which is a bummer. Okay, we're gonna hit a new segment today, which is some of the Q&A, and I have an overlay for this very occasion, which fortunately I can't find it, so that's super convenient. Let's see what we can do here, though. I see there are plenty of questions. So I just need to get this other little banner, very important for what we're trying to do here. And then I can get to the questions. This is a fun part with the live, is sometimes it's a bit of a mess. Okay, here we go. So it's a new segment here from Niche Website Builders. All right, so they're a new sponsor, and I'm actually testing out their service currently. So they're sponsoring the Q&A segment here. And if you're unfamiliar with Niche Website Builders, they're a hands-off, one-stop shop affiliate marketing agency, and they're run by affiliate marketers. So they realized that the services that they wanted, the quality that they were looking for was not available. They actually tested out a couple of companies that I mentioned in the past, and they were like, it wasn't quite what we were looking for, and we thought we could do a better job. So they're scratching their own itch. And basically they have a few products out there currently, and the ones that I'm testing are around content. So I've gotten back about 20,000 words in the last week or so. They work very quickly. They do know it's me, and they're trying to make sure I'm happy. So, but I think they work very quickly, and they have a lot of people on staff. English speaking writers, all right? So actually located in the UK, and they have done a great job from what I've seen. So they have content creation, they have link building, and done for you websites. I don't have any experience with their done for you websites, but hopefully I will be able to take a look at one very soon. They could write any kind of content that you want, and I've had them do roughly 70% informational so far and 30% product reviews. So it's the same approach and same templates and that sort of thing that they're using on their own sites. And the thing that I'm really excited about is I'm testing out their Shotgun Skyscraper package. So it's a link building package, and they use the Shotgun Skyscraper technique, which generally is you write a great piece of content that is link worthy, very good content, and then they go out and they send a shitload of emails to anyone that manages to leave their email address out there. It's not that bad, but they send a lot of emails to targeted prospects, and you get backlinks. The price per link is dramatically lower than if you were to go to sort of the classic services of like the Hoth or other link building companies, even ones that I've mentioned before, because often it's hundreds of dollars per link, even if they're kind of shitty private blog network links. Still hundreds of dollars. So these are white hat, pure outreach, and I'm just at the beginning of doing this campaign, so I'm unsure how it's going to pan out exactly, but we'll see, and I will let you know. I'm going to let you know exactly how it goes. So thanks to Niche Website Builders, and you can save 10%, get 10% more content. There's a link in the description to get to the stuff, and I think Matt is trying to put a code in Matt's trying to put something in here. Okay, so you got a code. It's in the live stream chat there. So people could check that out, and it's embedded. I'm an affiliate if you happen to use that. So I get a commission, which I appreciate. Okay, I'm going to answer some questions here for the Niche Website Builders. Perfect generic name, which I love. It's funny. Okay, AZ Lyric says, do you guys also have problems with indexing? I personally don't, but you should probably use the Search Console. If your site is under 6 months old, it is not unusual for you to have just pages show up on search, indexed, and then not be indexed. But once you get past that and you continue to add content, usually that just goes away. Matt L says, would I migrate hosting if you're still on a 12-month of a 36-month plan? Matt, I would potentially not, but it depends if you're trying to solve a problem. If moving to a new host solves that problem and it's truly a problem, then I would maybe do that. But unless you really need to, then I mean, it's a sunk cost. So you've already spent it, but you would potentially be spending more. So next. And Sean mentions that he moved from Bluehost to SiteGround, which is that's a transition that I've made, and it solved the speed issues, which I also had. And the customer service at Bluehost kind of sucked. Bill, what's going on? And Bill made it out to the meetup in Atlanta a couple weeks ago, so that was great. Good to see everyone out there. Into Tiva, a lot of syllables in there. When you write keyword golden ratio content, do you use the exact match title in the article with the KGR? Yes, unless it's not a good title, and then I'll change it, but still use all the words. Marcus says, I'm launching a new site and currently writing content myself to learn about the niche. I find that a quick outline works well. Perfect. Yes. Good to hear. And just when you're trying to get the work done, and sometimes you hit a block and you have to do it and your time's limited, maybe you're tired, like just getting the outline down, like so helpful. It kind of sort of lifts the pressure away a little bit. Okay. Bill says, do I come up with an outline and subheadings if I outsource the content? Sometimes, but not usually. Usually if I'm outsourcing it, I just want it off my plate. But typically for the content that I'm writing, then I will do the outline. But if I'm not personally writing it, then I usually just leave it to whoever is writing it. I have to cough. Unrelated, but I got a COVID test 2 days ago. So my wife works for a company that does testing, and they had some testing available for us. So we went down and got tested, which was good because we traveled for a couple weeks. We were in, I don't know how many states, if I just had to guess, like 12 or 13. So we were traveling, we practiced social distancing and we were wearing masks and hand sanitizer and all the business, but we were traveling and we had access to the test. So we got the test, and they stick the swab up your nose, which it didn't feel like super pleasant, but it really wasn't as bad as I thought. My eyes watered just a little bit, but I mean, I'm a fan, probably like most of you out there, to put, Q-tip in your ear. I mean, that feels nice, I think. Get out of the shower. Maybe you got a little water in there from cleaning inside your ear. You want to dry it up. I know you're not supposed to put the Q-tip in your ear, but it does feel nice. And it kind of reminded me of that, but a lot further up into your head. They said it feels like tickling your brain, which is, accurate. It didn't hurt. I'm not sure if I would sign up to do it again just for fun, but it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. We tested negative, by the way, so I just drank a little funny. That's why I needed a cough. Unrelated. So we're all good, and yeah, it was interesting to go through it. And they drew a little blood. We did the antibody test as well, and to my knowledge, we don't have the results back for that, but yeah. Now, more questions. Outlining the article, including all the subheadings. So Ashley says outlining helps as well. GS says, do I typically hire an editor plus another proofreader to do all that stuff? I just hire one content editor who does editing and then formatting and posting into WordPress. Correct. However, with niche website builders, they draft it in WordPress for you. They create the affiliate links for you, like whether if you're using Ahrefs Pro, for example, or Lasso or whatever, like they will be able to put in the affiliate links for you. Matt L says, boo deadlines, but man, they are effective. They are effective. 24/7 Marketing says you've been using AI article writing software to create an initial draft, and then they give you 1,000 words and a list of 20 or more sources that the software used. Cool. What are you using? Because I heard on Seth Godin's podcast in the last couple of weeks about like a new AI software that basically can do that, and it's not so crappy. It actually it's supposed to be like really good. Seth Godin was talking about it, so it's not just a piece of garbage. All right, David says, with the content work that I've had done by niche website builders, did I give them the keywords or was that part of the writing? Good question. So David, in my case specifically, I already had keywords, so I gave them those keywords. It actually was a bunch of keywords that I found personally when I was doing research for the multi-profit site website that I'm building. So I gave them those keywords. However, they will do the research for you. And for the future content that I'm getting from them, I'm getting 20,000 words per month. And I'm going to have them find the keywords. I think I may have a few more that I've already found that fit with the content that I want to publish. So I'll probably give them those first, but they're going to be doing the rest, the rest of the keyword research as we go. Helena says, what do I think of ClickBank? Is it possible to earn more with ClickBank? More than what? ClickBank is totally fine if the products you're trying to sell, if the audience is interested in the products on ClickBank, then yeah, we should be good to go. All right. Tech Hook says, where can I find WordPress content editors who can publish articles? And probably I would go to Upwork. That's kind of my go-to place to hire people. Go to Upwork. But I mean, the fact is, if you're looking for a WordPress content editor and that's the search that you're using in Upwork, it's going to be more expensive than if you just hire an assistant, hire like a office assistant or an executive assistant type person. WordPress is so easy that you can train someone in like 5 minutes, send them a couple videos, and like there's no barrier to entry to teach someone what kind of content management you need them to do. All right, Matt says, water, Doug. I'm drinking a beer this afternoon. So yeah, it is a couple hours later. I think you're on Eastern time, but yeah, I just worked out. It's just after lunch here. So yesterday though, it was about 3 and I was like, I think I'm going to have a beer. I had a session from Avery, a session IPA from Avery. All right. So Ahrefs Pro, there is a live stream of 40% off any plan over there. So the chat has the link in there. So Matt, feel free to repost that, but that is for Ahrefs Pro if people are interested, for whom I'm an affiliate. Bonnie says, is the idea to pick an interest category you can live with and then choose content based on KGR, or choose an interest category based on KGR first? That's a fair question. You can do either one. Both are valid and can be successful. I suggest you pick an interest that you actually have, Bonnie. Like, try to find something that you're interested in. Maybe it's a current hobby that you already have, and then you can build a site in that area. Usually there's going to be products and services and that sort of thing. And going back to Matt's question earlier, the biggest thing and the thing that I emphasize the most in multi-profit site is to have digital products available. If you have digital products available, hey Georgie, what's going on, girl? Come here. If you have digital products available, typically you're going to have a software, you're going to have courses that you can promote to the audience, and typically digital products have a higher commission rate, and they're not subject to the same sort of issues at the scale that Amazon can pose, right? So Amazon, they just changed the commission rates and there's nothing we could do about it. For a lot of people, they were the primary revenue. So huge problem with that. If you have digital products, right? So if we just look at Niche Site Project as an example, just because it's my site, I have a lot of data on it. I have affiliate deals with a lot of different companies. And there's a lot of different ways you could structure it. So I'm talking about Matt right here. We got niche website builders. There's hosting companies that send me checks every month. And there's other software products too. It's great, right? Like, so if one company drops out and disappears, which happens from time to time, then it almost doesn't matter because there's other companies out there, other affiliate programs that I could work with. And it fits in well with the audience. I don't recommend you go into internet marketing. It's so competitive, but it was really competitive when I got started and I didn't know anything. So I didn't know it was a stupid idea, but I persevered. So the point is, if you could find digital products as well, that's really good. The great part is online courses are huge across like any industry. So it's probably hard to find an industry or niche that doesn't have a bunch of courses available. You may have to go hunt for them, but even if it seems to be a very offline kind of hobby or niche, there's probably online courses for it. So I'm trying to think of a weird example, but instead I'll just use an easy one. But we were talking about cameras before, and it's easy because I have a bunch of cameras. Okay, I'm going to mute that. I think she heard a truck or something. I'm not sure what's going on, but my office door is closed right there, so she couldn't get out. The point is, cameras, I have cameras around because I like cameras and I use it for YouTube a lot. The point is, there's courses for photography, for like people that want to get into videography or start a YouTube channel or whatever. There's a ton of different options. So basically, if you're into cameras and stuff, you can find so many different products, so many different courses. And then if you want to look at software, there's a bunch of software products associated too. So Bonnie, to answer your question, I suggest find something that you're interested in and then find the keywords around it later. Previously, I would suggest the opposite, but at this point in time, it's just there's so many different areas that you can approach that I think you should go for something you're interested in. Okay, KVT, which I think that is a longtime viewer of the channel. How do you get backlinks indexed? Is it okay to use backlinks from Facebook group exchange? I don't know. I don't know anything about like just the general Facebook group exchange. I would say they're probably shitty and I would stay away from them. And how do I get my backlinks indexed? I don't worry about it. Matt says, if I tried rank math over Yoast, I started to use it, but it turns out I hate Yoast and I stopped using it a couple years ago. And rank math seems to be like leaner, and most people seem really happy with using rank math. So if I were to use a SEO plugin, I would probably use rank math. Karachi asks about Web 2.0 backlinking. Is there a benefit for ranking? I would say no. Travis says, I just wanted to say I enjoy the success story videos. They're great motivation for someone who's just starting. They're 1 month in and doesn't have results yet. Appreciate all the content. Thanks, Travis. Really appreciate you saying that, because I have listened to everyone and people are really interested in the success story. So I've been trying to do, one per week, or maybe every 2 weeks or so, and we'll see how it goes. I'm afraid I may need to do a handful of them and then cover some other topics and then do a handful of them. I'm afraid people are going to burn out listening to those, but I'm unsure, and it's really hard to get like the proper feedback, because there's multiple audiences out there. There's the YouTube side and on the podcast as well. So thanks, Travis. Appreciate it. And Travis, are you signed up for the email list? If not, go to nichesiteproject.com. And then if you have not listened to the podcast, there's other interviews there too. Sometimes they're not on YouTube. So check out the podcast if you're able to. Saeed says, I have 32 money articles and 7 informational. You have a 3-month-old site. Will you be penalized for excessive affiliate content? Probably not. And Tech Hook says, can someone suggest a VA or freelancer to publish your content? And if anyone wants to, you can try to, but basically, all right, I'm going to just break it down for you. Go do your own work and find your own person, right? Like you learn nothing. If someone just gave you the VA, you've learned nothing. So don't be lazy. Go find your own fucking person. Go to Upwork and you'll be able to find them. In fact, go sign up for my email list and I give you all the templates. You have the job listing, you have the instructions, like it's all in there. So don't be lazy. Go do your own work. All right. Shahib says, Niche Safari mentioned problems and told KGR is the worst method. Please clear it. I searched in the comments and got your comment. I'm a fan of your work. Please clear the issue. So I don't know. I'm not sure Niche Safari, but, that is the wrong. There's the camera I'm looking for. So if it's the person I'm thinking of, and it's a dude from Australia, and he was just like, it's the worst method ever. And then if you could tell me, Shahib, what method did they recommend? And while you're thinking about it, it's going to be hard for you to remember because it was very complicated. He told you to use several other tools and it would be more accurate. A lot of people, I'm not sure why, but I think maybe they're looking for views on YouTube. So controversy is a good thing to go for. But the KGR works really well because it helps you in a simple way find keywords that are generally underserved. Very simple. It's simple, all right? There's only a couple factors in there. The problem with the other methods is you have to use multiple tools. I was on a forum a little while back and they said, you know what, the KGR, it's not going to be accurate. You need to go to Ahrefs and then you need to go to SEMrush and pull some data. And then you need to go to this other tool, a tool that I had not even heard of. And then you're going to get way better results because you'll have more data and you'll really be able to find those great keywords. And the problem is those tools cost hundreds of dollars per month and it's like incrementally better. You really don't get much more from all the other complications. So the reason why the KGR works well is that it's simple. And the reason why people say that it doesn't work is because typically they're trying to get views in some capacity, or if they, I mean, it's not perfect, right? But if they're pointing out the flaws in it, it's not super helpful because you could probably find a couple hours of me talking about all the caveats of the KGR. But if you use it, you'll probably get good results. And there's probably, there's about 50 people. I bet 20 of the people on here have used KGR and got great results. So I don't have to defend it anymore. Other people will for me, but that is, since you asked specifically, I answered. Okay. All right. KVT says, you have a new site. After 5 or 6 months, the pages stop ranking. Is it because I don't have backlinks? Unfortunately, I don't have enough data to tell you why they're not ranking, but that could be a factor. However, there's a lot of people that have sites that have no backlinks that rank just fine ongoing. So I doubt that is exactly the issue, but it could be part of the issue. Okay, Ab Hicks says, what's my go-to for sponsored post? A lot of people say featuring sponsored posts affect rankings negatively. So my go-to, what's the correct way to insert sponsored links in your guide? So I don't have a guide specifically for inserting sponsored links, but in general, like if you note that it's a sponsored, I'm assuming you're talking about a sponsored post. So you would just say, hey, this is a sponsored post, or I'm an affiliate, or I'm affiliated with this company, or I'm an advisor, or whatever, so that you're disclosing the relationship. And then depending on how you're linking, potentially you would want to note it as no follow, but I don't know that it actually really matters because Google's pretty smart about that stuff. Job, probably Job. What do I think of adding Ezoic on Amazon money pages? Does it affect conversions? Yes. So I would probably not add Ezoic or other ads on pages where the primary goal is to sell a product and earn an affiliate commission. Anytime that you add another conversion option, it will impact the other conversions. So maybe it's going to improve conversions, or maybe it's going to make them worse, but anytime you add something, it's going to change it. I would probably not do it though. And, Shahib says, okay, you were asking more about the issues and you're a newbie and you're so confused. And I would say this. So Shahib, if you're new, basically you're going to see a bunch of people who are totally full of shit. And then you're going to find some other people who aren't. It's going to be really hard for you to figure out who's who. So I suggest you watch who's trying to sell a bunch of stuff all over the place, and then you'll figure out who to trust. Some people you're just going to like better than others. Some people you will trust, but they're still full of shit. So the KGR is something I created and talked about, and I haven't made any money from it. I just talk about it. It's all free. I've given it all away. There's a whole masterclass out there. There's a playlist. You could probably find a link to it out there. If you just search for KGR Masterclass, you could watch the hours of free material and then use it or not use it. I don't really care. That's the great part. If I was invested in it, if I was selling a course on KGR or a bunch of services, it would really, really be important to me to make sure no one, detracted from it, made people think the quality was poor. But it doesn't matter to me. If you don't want to use it, that is totally fine with me. And if whoever Niche Safari thinks it's not helpful, it'll be cool if he comes up with something better. All right, Matt says you've worked on a site for 6 years with no progress. When does the next multi-income site course reopen? It's open right now. It's open right now. So I think there's probably a link in the description. If you go to multi-profit site. Yeah, see, I don't even sell my own stuff very well. Look at this. I don't even have a link in there. Yeah, so it's multiprofitsite.com, and it should redirect over to Internet Marketing Gold. And I'm sure I can probably get a link in short order here, although it's hard to see my screen here. We got Internet Marketing Gold. Yeah, so Matt, if you want to enroll, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, doug@nichesiteproject.com, and I should probably see the email today. If you want to hop on, you can. Okay. All right. Matt says, Matt Allen says, sometimes you could find writers or editors from your own friends on Facebook. Just put out a post and see if anyone's interested. Yeah, great tip. Get it wrong. Did I mention Chris? I'm a huge Okay, Shahib says, please don't get it wrong that I mentioned Chris from Niche Safari. You're a huge fan. You signed up for the list. Oh, cool. Okay, yeah. It's treacherous out there with YouTube commenters. But yeah, that's all good. I think he was just doing it for views. He had some valid points, but nothing that I haven't mentioned already. So he kind of used some of the things that I've said to say why KGR doesn't work. But yeah. What are you going to do? All right, Zachariah, what's up? You say Matt Diggity advocates building a social fortress first, making active accounts on all social media, growing them, and he makes PBNs directing to the social pages. Have I done that? How successful has it been? So I haven't done that. I don't have a strong interest. Matt Diggity, super smart, Diggity Marketing. People should check him out if you're not aware. And I haven't talked to him in a long time, but I would say we're friendly. And I think if Matt is talking about it and he says this works well, it probably works really well. Gaurav says, if a manufacturer sends a product to review, should it be disclosed? Yes, you should disclose it. Typically, what I've done in the past, I've gotten a lot of products over time. Basically, you just say, hey, this product was sent over free of charge by the company, which, that's the disclosure. And you could say, whatever you want to say. Usually it's something to the effect of, this has no reflection on like my opinion. All opinions are my own, and that sort of thing. So I think I will leave it at that. I have a meeting coming up. So one more shout out here. So go check out the niche website builders. That's actually who I'm talking to in a minute here. So the niche website builders out there, you can get 10% more content for your content orders, 10% more for the done for you websites, and save 10% on link building packages, which mean you probably, probably get cheaper than me. So anyway, check them out. They're doing good service out there. And if you haven't watched some of my recent videos, I've tried to tighten it up a bit. So let me know what you think. And yeah, Shahib, no worries. You're saying, I'm sorry. It's totally fine. It's definitely one of the I guess triggers for me, because I've been asked so many times over the past, I would say 3 years, like, hey, so-and-so said X about you. And as you could tell, usually I don't, like, if someone has something negative to say about me, I usually am just like, okay, I don't care if they have something negative to say. They're talking about me. So I win. And I should probably just drop it whenever someone asks about someone else and just say like, yeah, I don't know. I have no comments on it. So anyway, have a great weekend out there. We'll catch you on the next one, and got a cool video coming out on Monday. So make sure that you are subscribed, hit the bell for notifications. Got a new video coming out Monday.